I'll say this, and this is like one of my big quotes. I think I'm a better networker than I am assistant editor. I'm still learning how to be an assistant editor. And honestly, I've been networking for longer than I've been assistant editing, so I would definitely say that the only reason I've gotten to where I'm at right now is not even my skill, it's my networking. What I realized from college was the only way I'd get onto what I want to do is from networking. So I started networking. I joined a lot of Facebook groups and I was like, hey, I'm a complete newbie. Can someone help me? Literally, and that was my beginning of my taste of like what the community of post-production is like. It's a very welcoming community. I still have people on my Facebook friends list that, I'll occasionally talk to. And it's like, they were literally there from the beginning. And I used to go up to LA. I didn't even have a car. I'd find a way to get myself to LA and go to BCPC meetups, assistant editor meetups, classes. And when I finally moved up to LA, well, obviously everyone has to have a job, everyone needs a source of income. I was working at a paint store for the first full year of being in Los Angeles. And, that was rough. I mean, because it's like everyone knows that things take time. You got to plant the seed and wait for it to grow. But I guess everyone's kind of, at least for me, I expected things to take off a lot sooner. I was like, oh, I'm just going to be here for a couple months. And then it was like a year later, I'm like, I'm still here. What am I doing? And then, man, once things took off, they really started taking off, though, I got to say.
Well, I'll make it very clear to the audience that I did not pay you in advance beforehand to say that networking is important and was the number one tool that got you to where you are. But we're going to talk a lot more about networking and all the strategies that you and I worked through and that you implemented. But I find it actually very rare. First of all, it's rare in general, but secondly, it's incredibly rare for somebody at the age that you were at the time, which is still in college, to recognize that networking is important. Because the vast majority of students, if not all of them that I've ever known, both in my experience, students that I've worked with in this program, and you can tell me if you agree, almost everybody thinks that their skill alone is going to get them where they want to get. I'm going to be the next director. I'm going to be the next writer. I'm going to be the next great editor. And they just get buried in the craft, which, by the way, is great, especially earlier in your career. But they often miss the component of people actually need to know I'm awesome at what I do. So what made you realize that networking was so important so early?
Actually, it was a friend of mine. He was more into production, and we're doing a production down in San Diego, and he got on, not through the school, completely by himself, and he ended up making this connection with this assistant director that they just clicked. They were just like that, and it was like, oh yeah, like this guy, he's talking about getting me a job up in LA, blah, blah, blah. And this is all within like the first couple months of college. And I'm like, I was roommates with him. Like my mind is being blown. I'm like, if he's doing this for production work, why am I not doing this for post-production work? That makes zero sense. So I was like, I went on Facebook and I searched editors. Then I searched assistant editors and like post-production. And that's where I found all the groups. And then that was the beginning of like, okay, how do you network? How do you get into networking? And I'll say this, and this is like one of my big quotes. I think I'm a better networker than I am assistant editor. I'm still learning how to be an assistant editor. And honestly, I've been networking for longer than I've been assistant editing, so I would definitely say that the only reason I've gotten to where I'm at right now is not even my skill, it's my networking.